everyone, Ethan here, and I'm just excited that we have the opportunity to kick off a devotional titled His Last Seven, where we're focusing on the last 7 days of Jesus' life here on the earth before his crucifixion. And I have the opportunity to be able to kick us off this first day. We'll be coming from, for the most part, Luke 18 and 19. And he's heading to Jerusalem, but he's passing through Jericho. And he has 3 encounters with 3 different people. And it's really so exciting for me as I was reading through this part of the passage, getting ready for today, that it's people that Jesus is encountering this entire time. See, his heart was always about people, seeing their lives change, seeing them become who they were meant to be, seeing them find purpose, seeing them healed. And today is no different. The first encounter that we see is that of Jesus with a rich young ruler. And many of us have heard this story before. He was a man that came to Jesus and said, "What must I do to inherit eternal life?" And Jesus responds back to him and says several of the different commandments. But he said he still lacked one thing, and that was to give away all of his goods, sell them to the poor, and then ultimately follow him. But it says something really heartbreaking. It says he left sorrowful because he had great possessions. Those were the things that were keeping him from coming to Jesus so that he would be found. And it goes on in that same passage where the disciples are asking, well, if it's impossible for a rich man to be saved, then who can be saved? And Jesus says, what's impossible with man is possible with God. Just a little bit later on, he then encounters, as he's passing by on his way through Jericho to Jerusalem, there's a blind man named Bartimaeus, and it really says as Jesus was passing by, he began to ask, hey, what's happening? Who is it? And they said that Jesus is passing by right now. He began to cry out to Jesus, "Son of David, have mercy on me." It says Jesus stopped and asked him the question, "What can I do for you?" I can imagine how that must have felt to have the question be asked by God, the Son of God, "What can I do for you?" And he says, "That I may see." So Jesus says to him, "Your faith has made you well." So we have a rich person, we have a poor person that got healed by Jesus. And then we come to the story in chapter 19 of Zacchaeus. Now, many of us have heard this story. If you grew up like I did, you grew up singing the song that Zacchaeus was a wee little man, and a wee little man was he. He climbed up in a sycamore tree for the Lord he wanted to see. The Lord stopped by and said, "Zacchaeus, you come down, because I'm going to your house today." Now, this was a huge deal, and it would have upset the religious leaders of that day because Zacchaeus was a tax collector. What this meant is that he would rob and steal from his own people to give to the people that were keeping them in bondage. So Jesus was ridiculed for this decision to go to his house, but it says, "I must stop by your house." And here's the reason why. Because God had something planned for his life that was totally going to change. Here, we first talked about a rich man who wouldn't give away his wealth. But after the conversation with Jesus, Zacchaeus says, "I'm going to give away half my goods, and if I've stolen from anybody, I'm going to repay them fourfold." And this is what Jesus responds to him and says, "Today, salvation has come to this house, because Jesus has come to seek and save that which is lost." It's 3 different stories, 3 different people, but Jesus is responding the same way. He wants to save those that are lost. And if that's what's on Jesus' heart, I think it should be on our heart as well, to be able to love people, to be able to reach them where they are, but at the same time to say, hey, what is the one thing that you lack that is keeping you from Jesus? Speaking truth to that in love and helping them come to Jesus, to be healed, to be set free, because salvation can come to our house today. I know we're in our homes right now, we're quarantined, but wherever you are, salvation can come to your house. You may have been praying for someone in your house to be saved, someone in your family. Salvation can come to your house. We just have to get alone with God, spend some time with him. And I'm excited for these next several days as we walk through what God is going to do, what God is going to speak to every single one of us. I believe he has something special in store as we remember all that God did for us on the cross heading to Easter when he was resurrected. Love you guys.